In Caracas, the air was thick with rhetoric and symbolism. Under the Venezuelan flag and the bronze statues of independence heroes, President Nicolás Maduro took to the stage during an event marking Indigenous Resistance Day, a holiday meant to reclaim the meaning of Columbus Day through Venezuela's own lens of struggle and sovereignty. But this year, the ceremony carried a different tone. The spotlight wasn't only on history, it was on a woman, María Corina Machado, the country's most prominent opposition figure, who 2 days earlier had been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee praised Machado for what it called her tireless fight for democracy and human rights in Venezuela. For her supporters, it was long-awaited recognition of her defiance. For the Maduro government, it was a provocation. As the applause abroad turned to anger at home, President Maduro took direct aim. In his speech, he invoked Venezuelan folklore to make his point. Without naming Machado directly, he likened her to La Sayona, a vengeful spirit said to haunt men who betray women, described as pale-skinned with long black hair. Then came the words that would ignite debate across the region. 90% of the entire population repudiates the demonic witch La Sayona. Nicolás Maduro, President of Venezuela. The remark drew laughter from loyalists, outrage from critics, and disbelief from the international community. For Maduro, the comparison was more than insult. It was political theatre, blending myth and power. He used the folklore as a weapon to frame Machado not as a reformer, but as a threat, a symbol of Western manipulation cloaked in moral virtue. Machado, once a member of parliament and long a thorn in the government's side, has faced bans from running for office and repeated harassment. Yet her popularity surged as Venezuela's crisis deepened, marked by years of hyperinflation, shortages, and mass migration. Her Nobel Prize, announced in Oslo on Friday, was seen as a moral victory for Venezuela's democratic movement. In her acceptance remarks, Machado dedicated the award to the suffering people of Venezuela, and notably to US President Donald Trump, whom she praised for supporting freedom movements in Latin America. That dedication only hardened Caracas's view of her. To the Maduro government, it confirmed what they have long alleged, that Machado is an instrument of US interference. Maduro told the crowd his government wanted peace, but on Venezuelan terms. We want peace, and we will have peace, but peace with freedom, with sovereignty. Nicolás Maduro, President of Venezuela. It was a pointed message to both his domestic opponents and the West. Then his tone shifted, his voice growing heavier as he linked Venezuela's struggle to global conflicts. Not the peace of empires, the peace of the ruins of Gaza, not the peace of misery and hunger, not the peace of death and blood. No, not the peace of domination. Nicolás Maduro, President of Venezuela. In one sweeping passage, Maduro connected Caracas to Gaza, Washington, and the wider world, portraying Venezuela as part of a global front resisting imperialism. It was a rhetorical move that echoed through state media within hours. The timing was strategic. The government, often isolated internationally, seized on Indigenous Resistance Day to rally nationalist pride and Project Defiance. Maduro's language was designed to resonate with the revolutionary legacy of Hugo Chavez, defiant, dramatic, and deeply anti-imperialist. Meanwhile, footage of María Corina Machado at recent rallies circulated online. Clad in white, surrounded by supporters waving Venezuelan flags, she appeared energized by the global attention. Her message was simple. The fight for Venezuela's future was moral, not military. At a recent event, she told followers that democracy could still be restored through unity and perseverance, a call that has kept her movement alive despite bans, threats, and intimidation. Internationally, the Nobel Prize to Machado was celebrated as a symbol of resilience, but also a test for global diplomacy. The award implicitly criticized the Venezuelan state's record on human rights, corruption, and repression, while honoring the endurance of the opposition under pressure. Inside Venezuela, the government-controlled media framed the announcement as foreign interference, a political stunt designed to destabilize the country. The propaganda machine quickly aligned with Maduro's tone, portraying Machado as a puppet of empire, while state-run television replayed his folklore-laden speech on loop. In Latin America, reactions were divided. Governments sympathetic to Maduro, such as Cuba and Nicaragua, echoed his narrative. Others, like Chile and Uruguay, congratulated Machado, calling the Nobel Prize a recognition of the courage of Venezuelan women. Washington's response was swift. The White House issued a statement praising Machado's unwavering commitment to democratic change. And from Europe, the EU's foreign policy chief described the award as a reminder that democracy in Venezuela remains unfinished business. But inside the country, the political landscape remains harsh. Machado continues to face a ban from holding public office, a measure upheld by Venezuela's Supreme Court. The Nobel Prize, while symbolically powerful, changes little on the ground. Her supporters know it, yet they believe it strengthens their cause beyond borders. In the barrios of Caracas, reactions are mixed. Some see the Nobel as proof that the world is paying attention again. Others, weary from years of political deadlock and economic hardship, view it as distant and symbolic. It won't fill my refrigerator, one resident told local media. Maduro, however, appears determined to turn the award into a rallying point. His use of La Sayona, part myth, part insult, was not random. In Venezuelan folklore, La Sayona is a spirit of vengeance and punishment, but also fear. By invoking her image, Maduro framed Machado not as an opponent, but as an omen. His government has repeatedly accused the opposition of colluding with foreign powers, citing US military exercises in the Caribbean as evidence. Machado's open support for these maneuvers has fueled those accusations further, yet her defiance continues. Even under surveillance and threats, she travels across the country, addressing crowds, calling for unity, and framing her struggle as one for national dignity. For many Venezuelans, she embodies both frustration and hope, the idea that change, however distant, is still possible. As Maduro presided over the Indigenous Resistance Day ceremony, the contrast was stark. The presidential stage adorned with flags, the crowd chanting revolutionary slogans, the folklore blending with politics. It was both a show of strength and a reminder of how isolated the leadership has become. For the international community, the episode is another chapter in Venezuela's long political standoff, where myth and message collide, and where every speech is both domestic theatre and foreign signal. The demonic witch remark will likely linger in headlines, but behind it lies a deeper truth, a nation divided not just by ideology, but by exhaustion. The Nobel Prize has reignited hope among some, resentment among others, and fury within the ruling elite. As night fell over Caracas, the same question echoed through both sides of Venezuela's divide: what comes next? For Machado, the challenge is to transform global recognition into political reality. For Maduro, it is to maintain control amid growing isolation. Both leaders claim to speak for peace, but each defines peace differently. Maduro's closing words at the ceremony still hung in the air, not the peace of domination. It was both a declaration and a warning that in Venezuela's battle of words and wills, peace itself has become contested territory.
El presidente de Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, apuntó contra María Corina Machado. La dirigente opositora, acusada por el gobierno de pedir una invasión extranjera, fue galardonada el viernes con el Premio Nobel de la Paz por su incansable lucha por la democracia. Aunque no la mencionó directamente, el mandatario se refirió a Machado como la Sayona, en referencia a una ánima del folclore venezolano que, como la dirigente, es de tez blanca y cabello negro y liso.
Un 90% de toda la población repudia a la bruja demoníaca de la Sayona.
Machado apoya las maniobras militares estadounidenses en el Caribe y dedicó el Nobel al pueblo sufriente de Venezuela y al presidente estadounidense Donald Trump, que aspiraba también al galardón.
Nosotros queremos paz. Y paz vamos a tener, pero paz con libertad, con soberanía. No la paz de los imperios, la paz de las ruinas de Gaza, no la paz de la miseria y del hambre, no la paz de la muerte y la sangre, no la paz del dominio.
Maduro presidió un acto por el descubrimiento de América, celebrado en Venezuela como Día de la Resistencia Indígena.
¡A nuestro indio presidente!